Bhishta Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We are discussing 14th chapter. We covered up to 10th verse. Modes are a very practical topic. All of us are, modes are energy that are always influencing our mind. Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna. These are based on our past actions. We're all influenced by these forces, energies, just like you see here in the picture. Yeah. The three gunas are like this. They pull and push. Whatever we do at any time is based on our mindset, right? That mindset is actually is a factor of these modes that are, we can change our modes. That is the key aspect to understand. We need to, so to change our modes, we need to understand the modes we are in, right? Am I influenced by passion? Am I influenced by goodness? Am I influenced by ignorance? That we need to understand to be able to get out of it. Just like, if you want to treat a disease, you need to understand the diagnosis. And then once you know the diagnosis, what exactly is the problem, then a specific medicine that caters to the disease has to be administered, and then you get the relief from the disease. It goes the same way with the way. So we need to understand the modes in which we are. Ideally, a spiritual person, a spiritually inclined person with his spiritual practices can overcome all the three modes. It's not that one mode is better than the other. All of the three material, these are material modes. Mode of goodness is the best. Mode of ignorance is the worst. Mode of ignorance means one who is lazy, always fearful, always anxious, miserable. They are very miserable. They can't act. They're always confused. A lot of people who are inclined to no action and sometimes stay as beggars on the street, they're all primarily influenced by heavy mode of ignorance. They don't have direction in life. You don't do anything. That is mode of ignorance. Mode of passion means too much action, too much desires, too many, never satisfied, right? Always unsatisfied, miserable, hankering for things in this world. Mode of goodness means happy, satisfied. If I ask you, the profession teaching is in which mode? Any teaching, whether it is material subject or any subject.
Mode of goodness, Prabhuji.
Yeah, mode of
Passion.
goodness.
Passion, Prabhu?
No, mode of goodness. Generally, I mean, yeah, there can be some passion as well. With passion, they will make it very fascinating. But generally, knowledge, any subject oriented around knowledge, people in mode of goodness are researchers, scientists, they're always seeking knowledge and they are satisfied. They're not after material hankerings. People in mode of passion are workaholics. They want to always gain something in this world, want to prove themselves. That is mode of passion. Those who are ignorant are drunkards. Those who are always frustrated, angry at everything, not inclined for action, that is mode of. Anyway, so we'll cover those things now in more detail from 10th verse. So recognizing the supremacy of a mode within a person. So how do I know which mode is predominant in me? That is the topic in these 4 verses. Let's read those 4. Rajastamas cha vibhuya
Rajastamascha
Vibhuya
sattvam bhavati bharata
sattvam
Sattvam Bhavati Bharata
rajasattvam tamaschaiva
Raja Sattvam Tamaschaiva
tamasattvam rajastata.
Tama Sattvam Rajastata.
Please read, anyone.
Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. This way, there is always competition for supremacy.
So in the same person, the modes also change based on situation and timing. A person who is predominantly in mode of passion can be influenced by mode of goodness at certain times. It's basically nobody is fixed. The influence is not fixed. Depending on time, place, circumstance, things will change. Through spiritual practice, one can overcome all the 3 modes. Okay. Yeah. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin
Sarvadvareshu Dehesmin
prakasha upajayate
Kasha Upajayate
jnanam yada tada vidyat
Jnanam Yada Tada Vidyat
vivriddham sattvamichyuta.
Vivriddham Sattvamittuta.
The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge.
So when all the gates of the body, the gates are, I think we discussed this verse, right? 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 noses.
Yeah, Prabhu, we discussed all this.
Yes, Prabhu.
We discussed these 4 verses, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next one. Maybe I didn't share the recording. Yeah, so when somebody is influenced more by mode of passion, symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. We discussed this already. Mode of passion means too much action orientation. Uncontrollable desire, this is what is driving him. And mode of ignorance is darkness. They're always confused. They don't know what to do. Inertia, madness, illusion. And by the way, it's not like one can be predominantly affected by it, but generally everybody goes through all the 3 modes. It's not like, oh, I'm never influenced by mode of ignorance. Sometimes we get confused. We don't know what to do. So, but a person who is doing, spiritual practices, the influence of modes will keep on reducing, keeps on going down. Especially mode of ignorance will go away from his life, because his mind is lightened up by Lord's potencies. Yeah, when there is no illumination, knowledge is absent. One in the mode of ignorance doesn't work by a regulative principle. He wants to act whimsically for no purpose. Even though he has capacity to work, he makes no endeavor. This is called illusion. Although consciousness is going on, life is inactive. These are the symptoms of one in the mode of ignorance. He has capacity to work, but he doesn't. So we see like a lot of beggars. We feel that, they can work and earn an income, but the mind doesn't allow. Actually, we think that why he's not doing it. Its mind is such a ghost. It just, otherwise, why would they choose to stay on the streets instead of working hard and earning a livelihood and living in a home? Their mind just doesn't allow by their conditioning. It's called conditioning. They're conditioned by the mode of ignorance. We feel very easily, why is this guy not doing anything? But we don't know how much influence their mind is. So they need real help, not just the word or a kind of we many times we just become very callous and just think that it's completely wrong on their side to not really put any effort to do a job. But actually the problem is not physical, it's mental, and it's the influence of the mode of ignorance that is very strongly influencing them not to act. So they need the proper counseling and direction and some real support. Yada sattve pravriddhe tu
Yada sattvate pravriddhe tu
pralayam yati deha brit
Pralaya
pralayam yati dehabhrit
tadottama vidam lokan
Sado
tamabdam lokan
amalan pratipadyate.
amalam pratipadyate.
Please read.
When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages.
So if somebody dies in the mode of goodness, meaning at the time of death, his mind is influenced primarily by the mode of goodness, he is still, because it is a material mode, it's not a transcendental mode, he is still considered under the influence of material nature. And so he can go only to a higher planet within the 14 planetary system. The topmost is Maharloka, Janaloka, and Tapaloka, and Brahmaloka. Those are the 4 top planets within the 14 planetary system. The best is Brahmaloka, in the place where Lord Brahma personally resides. And most of the people there are, continuously meditating. They are on the verge of going back to Vishnu Lokas, but they're still within the material realm. And these planetary systems are far better than Svargaloka. Svargaloka is just little better than our Bhurloka. Bhuloka, Bhorloka, little better than that is Bhorloka, and then is Svargaloka. So Svargaloka is not considered such a great place within material creation. The best is Brahmaloka, Tapaloka, and Janaloka. These are Maharloka. They're constantly, sages meditate to achieve perfection. Many siddhas in the, who practice a lot of austerity and meditation generally end up in one of these lokas only. They don't go to higher, they don't get liberation actually. A lot of these have to go. It's like what do you call long-term in India, it's like a coaching center, you get full focus on spiritual practices. Like in India, sometimes people go for 1 year coaching for, IIT and just focus on that and then go there, right? So these higher planets are like those coaching centers where not coaching, I mean, they won't be coached, but the whole atmosphere is surcharged with spiritual practices. So it's very easy from there to go back to God. Swargaloka is not like this. Swargaloka is a bit more distracted than our Bhuloka. There too much sense enjoyment is there. Lower planets are also full of sense enjoyment. Earth is relatively much better. And above Earth, the best places are these top four planets: Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Brahmaloka, the topmost. And when Brahma finishes his lifetime, which is trillions of years, that's a long time. And with his death, the whole abode of Brahmaloka goes back to Vaikunta. So they get full liberation at the end of Brahma's lifetime. Long process, long time. Generally, there is no death in this planetary system. Just like in our planetary system called Martyaloka. Martyaloka means you need to really work hard and die at the end of life. The lower planetary systems are all there is death. But Brahmaloka and all these higher planets, they don't have death. Even Swargaloka doesn't have death. If you have to die, you will be thrown out of, it's like a 5-star hotel. Swargaloka, 5-star hotel, you expend all your good karma there. Once you enjoy, you'll be thrown out, and you will come as a comet and fall in the lower planets, which is generally the Earth planet. Again, take birth, again go back, and again it's a cycle. So there is a chance even from Brahmaloka or one of these higher planets also to fall. Unfortunately, that's the problem with material world. Anywhere, Brahma Bhuvanar Loka, I'll show you one verse that will give you why. Read this.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
Yeah. So clearly, right? From the highest planet, which is Brahmaloka, to the Patal Loka, everywhere there is, of course, there is a possibility of death. Generally, in the higher planets, they don't die. They, if they stick to the spiritual path, they go back to God from there. They don't need to come back. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains the pure higher planets of the great sages. See, higher planet systems are like Brahmaloka or Janaloka, and there enjoy godly happiness. The word Amalan is significant, free from modes of passion and ignorance. There is no influence of passion and ignorance. Pure happiness, because they are always in the mode of goodness. Yeah. Rajas pralayam gatva, Rajasi pralayam gatva,
Rajasi pralayam gatva,
Karmasangishu jayate,
karmasangishu jayate,
Pralinas tamasi,
tatha pralinas tamasi,
Mudha yonishu jayate.
adonishu jayate.
Yeah. Pralayam gatva means when pralayam happens, when the when the end of the planetary systems happen, that's when go ahead. Yeah, please read.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth again. He takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom.
If one dies in the mode of passion, which is most of the people in this world, they actually engage. Generally, mode of passion means middle planets. Mode of goodness means higher planets. Mode of ignorance means lower planets or lower forms of life. Either of them. You may get birth in the earth planet, but you may go into animal kingdom if you are in mode of ignorance, because you ignorantly acted. Why to waste giving you a higher body? So the karmana daivanetrena, one will be given a body of animals. Bhagavatam talks about this. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Karmana Daiva Netrena Jantur Deho Papattaye Sriya Pravishta Udaram Umsoreta Kanashraya. The personality of Godhead said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, supervision, right? Daiva Netrena, and according to result of his work, one's actions in the past life, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of a male semen to assume a particular type of body. So the kind of body one has is a net result of one's past karma. And it is not a random happening, it is happening under the direct supervision of the Supreme Lord. So one gets birth based on one's actions. Right? If he is engaged in too much passion, he generally gets in middle planetary systems and generally human beings. If he is ignorant, either lower planetary systems or lower forms of life. Very straightforward, logical. So human life is a very, very important junction. Either you can evolve to a higher life or go down to a lower life. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. According to this verse, if one develops the mode of ignorance, after his death, he is degraded to an animal form of life. From there, one has to again elevate himself by an evolutionary process to come again to the human form of life. This is an evolutionary process. If you go back to animal life, again you are in a cycle up to you come back to again human form of life. So it's basically waste of time. So just like Darwin proposed this evolutionary theory, there is evolutionary theory which is already there in Vedas. It's not like Darwin has invented something. Darwin actually perverted over the original conclusions of Vedas. What did the Vedas say? The evolution is not of body, but it is of the consciousness. If you act in good consciousness, you get higher form of life. If you act in lower consciousness, you go lower in your body or planetary system, right? It's very evident, right? Based on your action, you get karma daivanetrena, jantur upapattaya, just like we saw, right? So body changes. When body changes, one will be awarded a higher body or a lower body based on one's actions and consciousness in the current life. So therefore, who are actually serious about human life should take to the mode of goodness, at least the mode of goodness, and in good association, satsang, transcend the modes and become situated in Krishna consciousness. Use mode of goodness as the platform of your life. Your life, whatever your actions you do, at least it should be the base mode should be mode of goodness. And on top of that, if you achieve good association with satsang with devotees, that will help you transcend the modes and become situated in Krishna consciousness. This is the aim of human life. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that the human being will again attain to the human status. Karmana sukritashu tasyahu
Karmana sukrutasyahu
satvikam nirmalam phalam
satvikam
Satvigam nirmalam phalam
rajasastu phalam dukkham
rajasastu phalam dukkham
ajnanam tamasah phalam.
Ajnanam
ajnanam tamasah phalam.
Hmm. Please
The
read.
result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness.
So if one performs pious action, he is in mode of goodness. If he acts in the mode of passion, it results in misery. And action performed in mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Right? Based on our action, we get the result. Right? Please read here, Mataji.
The result of pious activities in the mode of goodness is pure. Therefore, the sages who are free from all illusion are situated in happiness. But activities in the mode of passion are simply miserable. Any activity for material happiness is bound to be defeated. If, for example, one wants to have a skyscraper, so much human misery has to be undergone before a big skyscraper can be built. The financier has to take much trouble to earn a mass of wealth, and those who are slaving to construct the building have to render physical toil. The miseries are there. Thus, Bhagavad Gita says that in any activity performed under the spell of the mode of passion, there is definitely great misery. There may be a little so called mental happiness. I have this house or this money, but this is not actual happiness.
Yeah, so it's very, material world is not easy. Want to achieve anything, lot of hard work is needed. By the way, in Swargaloka, there is not toil like this, physical toil. Like I said, Swargaloka means this is called, this middle planetary systems, Bhu and Bhuvarloka, they are called karma bhumis. People accumulate karma, means good reaction, good, good karmic balance. It's like bank balance. Once you have it and you go to higher planet, you just expand there. You don't accumulate anything there. You just expand. Just like you are at your home, but when you go to a hotel, you just enjoy. That's the spirit. There's nothing different. Swargaloka is just a place of expenditure where people who have acted piously in the material world, they go and expend their good credits. And once the credits are done, Kshine Punya. Kshine Punya Martyalokam Vishanti. Tetam Bhaktva Swargalokam Vishalam. See, when they have thus enjoyed heavenly sense pleasure, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, through the Vedic principles, they achieve only flickering happiness. So one who is promoted to those higher planetary systems enjoys a longer duration of life and better facilities for sense enjoyment. Yet one is not allowed to stay there forever. Just like if you are in 5-star, can you stay in 5-star hotel forever? Your money will be over. So at some point you will be kicked out. One is again sent back to the earthly planet upon finishing the resultant fruits of pious activities. See, that's what we discussed. He who hasn't attained perfection of knowledge, as indicated in Vedanta Sutra, Or in other words, he who fails to understand Krishna, the cause of all causes, becomes baffled in achieving the ultimate goal of life and is thus subjected to the routine of being promoted to the higher planets. And then again coming down as if situated on a Ferris wheel, which sometimes goes up and sometimes comes down, exactly the same, right? It's called Samsara Chakra or Ferris wheel of life. The purport is that instead of being elevated to the spiritual world, where there is no longer any possibility of coming down, one simply revolves in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. Chakra. One should better take to the spiritual world to enjoy eternal life. Vaikuntha, right? Full of bliss and knowledge, and never return to this miserable material existence. Why would you want to? Right? So you need to set the priorities of life right by taking to spiritual practices seriously. Yeah. Continue, Mataji, here. This is a very important purport.
As far as the mode of ignorance is concerned, the performer is without knowledge, and therefore all his activities result in present misery, and afterwards he will go on toward animal life. Animal life is always miserable, although under the spell of illusory energy, Maya, the animals do not understand this. Slaughtering poor animals is also due to the mode of ignorance.
Animal life is always miserable. We may think, oh, wow, animals are happily living in the jungle. They always fear death. Right? Not a single minute. They have no proper shelter. Anytime anything can come and bite them and kill them. So there is no security at all. They're always fearful, anxious. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam
Sattvat sanjayat jnanam
rajaso lobha eva cha
rajaso labha eva cha
pramada moha tamaso
pramada tamaso
bhavato jnanam eva cha.
Bhavato
bhavato jnanameva cha.
Please read.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion.
So from mode of goodness, knowledge develops. Because of living in mode of goodness, knowledge automatically comes. If somebody is in mode of passion strongly, naturally greed develops. It only increases. If you continuously work hard, it only increases your greed. It acts like a fuel to the fire. And from mode of ignorance, foolishness develops, madness develops, illusion develops. Right? So what develops from which mode? That is mentioned here. So based on our actions, the results will be there. Yeah, continue, Prabhu, here.
Since the present civilization is not very congenial to the living entities, Krishna consciousness is recommended. Through the Krishna consciousness, society will develop the mode of goodness. When the mode of goodness is developed, people will see things as they are. In the mode of ignorance, people are just like animals and cannot see things clearly. In the mode of ignorance, for example, they do not see that by killing one animal, they are taking the chance of being killed by the same animal in the next life.
Yeah, continue. Little more.
Because people have no education in actual knowledge, they become irresponsible. To stop this irresponsibility, education for developing the mode of goodness of the people in general must be there. When they are actually educated in the mode of goodness, they will become sober in full knowledge of things as they are. Then people will be happy and prosperous.
Yeah. So if you develop mode of goodness, it will be actually truly happy and truly prosperous. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta
Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta
ye tishtanti rajasa
Madhye
tishanti rajasa
Rajasa
gunavrittista
Rakanya
Rajaguna vrittistha
adho gachanti tamasa.
Ado
Adho Gachanti
gachanti
Tamasa.
tamasa.
Please read.
Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish world.
So if you are in mode of goodness, you go higher. Urdhvam gachanti. Urdhvam means going up. Urdhvam gachanti sattvasta. Majje tishtanti rajasa. If you are in passion, you will live in the passion. So the Earth planet is a passionate world. People are engaged in a lot of work here. In the higher planets, people don't work like us. They don't even work. They just meditate and stay in mode of goodness. Their needs are taken care automatically. It's not like everybody. So here, everybody has to work to earn their living. It's not like that in higher planets. It's taken care. And those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to hellish worlds. Those who live their life in mode of ignorance, they go to lower planets. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Patala. Those 7 planets. Yeah. Please read.
In this verse, the results of actions in the 3 modes of nature are more explicitly set forth. There is an upper planetary system consisting of the heavenly planets, where everyone is highly elevated. According to the degree of development of the mode of goodness, the living entity can be transferred to various planets in this system. The highest planet is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka, where the prime person of this universe, Lord Brahma, resides. We have seen already that we can hardly calculate the wondrous condition of life in Brahmaloka. But the highest condition of life, the mode of goodness, can bring us to this. Wow.
Yeah. So it depends on how much mode of goodness one has. If he has the best full mode of goodness, then he will go to Brahmaloka. If it is little less, then it is Maharloka. Even if it is little more less, then it is Tapaloka, then Janaloka. So like that. If you are too much passionate, you will stay in the middle planets. You work too much hard and just no focus on spirituality at all. Then why to send to Brahmaloka? You'll be bored there, right? If you go to Brahmaloka, everybody is chanting and you are, you want to earn more money, right? So you don't want to go there. So actually it is some self-directing. All these, our actions only direct our karma. It's not like God is arranging the right thing based on where we stand. It's not like God is forcing us somebody in this lower, somebody in the higher. Based on our own actions, we are pushing ourselves towards that. It's not like God wants us to be there, right? Yeah, continue.
The mode of passion is mixed. It is in the middle between the modes of goodness and ignorance. A person is not always pure, but even if he should be purely in the mode of passion, he will simply remain on this earth as a king or a rich man. But because there are mixtures, one can also go down. People on this earth in the mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by machine. In the mode of passion, there is also the chance of becoming mad in the next life.
See, here there is a good statement here. People on this earth in the mode of passion or ignorance cannot forcibly approach the higher planets by mission. This is a statement for who? Anybody you can think about? Ignorance.
Astronauts.
Yeah, astronauts, and specifically this Elon Musk. You heard about Elon Musk? He's trying to build a Sputnik to send people to Mars. It may succeed as a business and make him rich, but it's not going to work. See, when you are in India, to travel to America, did you not need a passport and a visa? Shouldn't the government accept you to come there, by which you can go there? Isn't that true? Can you come to America just because you have some, the physical capacity to buy a ticket and board a flight? Don't you need a visa? What do you all think?
Yes,
We-
Prabhu, definitely.
We need permission. It's never one way. So when we are, so same thing, it's, don't think that all these planets, only Earth has all the population, no other planets have any population. Why would such, planets of that size, bigger than even Earth, would just float without any living entities there? Just because you cannot see with your physical eyes, which have a certain range to see, just because you don't see, it doesn't mean there is no life there. The life as you know may not be there. The living conditions, the physical body, everything will be different in different planetary systems. Only Earth has life, and Earth has life according to the needs of earthly people. It's not like, all these planetary systems are floating without any population. It's meaningless, just to think like that. Why would only one small little planet have a life? Why shouldn't life, as you think, as you understand, as you see, doesn't exist? You can't, perceive them. Doesn't mean they don't exist in other planet. All these other planetary bodies. It's very foolish, and people think they can forcibly go by Sputniks to other planets. That's not practical. That's not possible. Just like you can't go to another country without their permit, you cannot just reach any country, any planetary system without their permit. It's their dwelling, just like America is dwelling of Americans. So they need to allow you. And the proper procedure for interplanetary travel is there are specific rituals in Vedas actually that can transfer you to higher planetary systems. If you perform those, at the end of this life, you can go to Swargaloka if you want. There are these yajnas even performed today also. I know there are some people in Andhra Pradesh, they do that. Yajna, they do elaborate yajnas every year. Actually, their goal is to go to Swargaloka, right? To enjoy life there. But all these efforts, whether through Vedas or to Sputniks, they're not really worth it, because going to a Swargaloka, it's like dreaming to go to a 5-star hotel and earning money in this world, right? It's of no consequence, because after your money is over, again you are going to come back to this place. What is the use? So instead, whatever time we have, we want to actually spend on the highest cause, which is to go back to free yourself from all karmic reactions and go back to spiritual realm. So that is what we should aim for. That is, that's a worthy goal of life, instead of trying to settle for anything within the material world. Continue, Prabhu, here.
The lowest quality, the mode of ignorance, is described here as abominable. The result of developing ignorance is very, very risky. It is the lowest quality in material nature. Beneath the human level, there are 8 million species of life: birds, bees, reptiles, trees, etc. And according to the development of the mode of ignorance, people are brought down to these abominable conditions. The word tamasa is very significant here. Tamasa indicates those who stay continuously in the mode of ignorance without raising to a higher mode. Their future is very dark.
Yeah. So tamasa is the worst of all. First of all, they are miserable in the current life, and unfortunately, their next life will also be far more miserable. Right? So beneath the human form, there are 8 million species. Human is the top pinnacle in evolution of consciousness within this planetary system. For example, there are 8.4 million. Means there are 8.4 million species of life, and within humans there are 400,000 levels of consciousness. The highest being fully ready for almost liberated, going back to God, and the lowest being almost like animal, right? So there are 400,000 levels of human consciousnesses one can raise within one life to higher consciousness, and ultimately one can achieve perfection as well. Continue here.
There is an opportunity for men in the mode of ignorance and passion to be elevated to the mode of goodness, and that system is called Krishna consciousness. But one who does not take the advantage of this opportunity will certainly continue in the lower modes.
So here is the opportunity for all those who practice seriously Krishna consciousness. Is the best process. It helps one to get out of even mode of goodness. If you are in the lower modes, it will bring you to mode of goodness. If you're already in the mode of goodness and practice spiritual life seriously, it will get you ready for going to spiritual planets in the next life. So wherever you are, it will push you up as you practice. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram
Nanyam gunebhya kartaram
yada drashtanupashyate
yada drashtanupashyati
gunebhyascha param vetti
gunebhyascha param vaiti
madbhavam sogadhigacchati.
madbhavam sodigacchati. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
When one properly sees in activities, no other performer is at work than these modes. Actually, because the jiva is pure in spirit, the spirit soul is pure. Now, the spirit soul, when it come in contact with material nature, it was thoroughly influenced by the nature, right? And based on his past actions, he developed certain inclinations. So when you act in a certain way at any time, it is primarily the influence of the modes that are in action there. So you are a distinct personality. Your soul, your true self is actually not the doer. It's actually the modes that are letting you, do in a certain way, being influenced by them strongly, right? Is at work, then these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes. He attains my spiritual nature. Yeah. So it's only the modes that are acting. Yeah. And he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes. So the correct way of seeing this is that it's only the modes that are acting. Yeah. So when he understands that, he will actually attain spiritual nature. right? So those who are fully liberated, they can clearly see it's only the modes that are acting, and they are not disturbed by any kinds of situations, because they can clearly see it is the modes that are acting. It's not this particular individual, So when somebody is angry at them, they only see the modes acting. It's not the spirit behind the modes. So naturally, they don't feel too upset or too depressed when they're insulted or being angered upon, or right, treated badly. They know it is so. That's why Jesus, when he was on the, Jesus is a pure devotee. That's how we see as Vaishnavas. So what does he teach? He says, when he was about to die, on the, what is it called? The pole that he was carried, and he was ultimately nailed on the pole. His only prayer is that do not punish these people who are trying to punish and kill me, because they do not know what they're doing. They do not know what they're doing. So that is the compassion of a pure soul, right? So here also we can see a person who is spiritually conscious, they can see it is the modes that are acting at any time. So they are not too much disturbed when things are not going as per their plan, or they're seeing reversals in life. They have the ability to see with the right perspective. Please read.
One can transcend all the activities of the modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly, by learning from the proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn the science of activities in terms of the modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of material modes of nature.
One's life will be misdirected by the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master. A living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he's entrapped, and how he's. So the grace, by taking shelter of a guru, it is bestowed upon the jiva, right? He can know his spiritual position, how his material body is acting and how he's entrapped in the spell of modes of nature. So he is helpless being in the grip of these modes, but when he can see his real position, then he can attain to the transcendental platform, having the scope for spiritual life. Actually, the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of nature. Yeah. So that's why spiritual vision is, spiritual knowledge is a guiding force. Without that knowledge, one cannot see what is going on in life. The so-called personality development and all these, they don't really change you at all, because mind is a very powerful thing. If you want to reduce your weight, you can go do some physical exercise. That itself takes a lot of effort. It's not easy to reduce your weight by 10 kilos. Sometimes after reducing again, we'll get back to the weight. Not that easy. Now, physical body is visible and you can see clearly how you are changing and how your diet is affecting. What to speak of controlling mind? Mind is subtle, right? Mind is much more subtle. That requires a lot more, powerful tools and techniques. So because mind is subtle, not physical, it requires something subtle, some techniques that are subtle that will treat it, right? The best treatment is chanting the mantra, Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna. We don't know how it acts. We may think it is not working, but it is working. Just like when you eat food, automatically you're nourished. You feel satisfied at some point. So similarly, as you continue to chant, at some point you feel nourished and you will achieve that state of full satisfaction and consciousness. Right? One should have that faith. We have to continue with faith. We may not see the result right now, but how do we believe? We believe because we have seen the great history of acharyas in the past. We know because we believe in the acharyas. They are pure devotees. They have no other purpose other than helping other living entities. If they have seen, they are completely selfless, only living for the welfare of all. If they are speaking something, we accept that. It may not be our realization, but it is the relation of great acharyas who have no other ulterior motives. So we believe in their words and follow their footsteps and practice spiritual life seriously. Right? So with the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position. And by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of modes of nature. It is already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. So one who can see things as they are, the influence of modes gradually ceases away. So one has to learn to see that way. So that is the lesson from this verse, right? So it depends. Just like when you want to learn a material subject, you want to do engineering, you won't study at home. You would go to a teacher, right? You go to a college, administer yourself in a college. You cannot become a doctor by studying at home. You have to go to a reputed college, hear the lessons, write the exams, do the experiments, and through experiential knowledge, you gain the confidence to perform work as a doctor. Nothing is superficial. Nothing is, there is no shortcut to become a doctor. So similarly, when we want to become spiritually elevated, one should, study the subjects, scripturals, and also take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So it's mentioned, right? With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position. Who is a spiritual master? That may be the question next, right? A spiritual master is someone who has a bona fide spiritual master is generally comes in the line of teachers, starting from Krishna, right? And as long as so Krishna taught to Arjuna, and Sanjaya was there, and then there are many great sages as well, and then they have taught to the next student, and the student becomes teacher, and then so it's called Guru Parampara. And as long as one is coming in the line of Guru Parampara, a line of teachers, and especially when the line was unbroken means there is no time when the teacher missed to teach a student and there was no student that would continue the chain. When a teacher comes in the line of teachers, starting from Lord Krishna, who gave this wisdom, or Ved Vyas, then you can rely, okay, Here is a transparent via medium through which I am receiving knowledge. So this Guru Parampara, generally, they don't give their own ideas when they teach. They only follow what they have received in knowledge from their Guru. They don't misinterpret, or they don't speculate and give as they wish, right? Today we see in India, there are so many self-declared gurus, right? Jagat gurus also sometimes. So they're all 99% of so-called gurus are all bogus. They are just, fake gurus. They don't have guru themselves. If you don't have a guru and you become a guru, then where is the authenticity to what you teach? You say something today, tomorrow somebody more intelligent than you can refute your ideas. So then where is the value of your teaching? So the bona fide line of teachers stick to the scriptures, whatever they say. For example, I'm trying to say something, I would always refer to another verse in Gita to make my point. I'll never think on my own and speculate and show the strength of my intelligence. That's not going to help. That's not going to help you, help me, or help anyone. So whatever we say is based on, it's like in a court, a lawyer is only supposed to speak based on the law of the land, right? So similarly, in spirituality also, whatever we hear, whatever we follow should be based on authentic scriptures and the teachings of a guru, bona fide guru, who is coming in a line of teachers. Even Srila Prabhupada, who was the author of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, he comes in this line of teachers starting from Brahma, Lord Brahma, who is an empowered Acharya himself. And he initiated like so many hundreds of spiritual masters who later on became spiritual master after their guru passed away in 1970s. They are now the leading gurus. They are the ones who are initiating the next generation, and they only teach from what they learned from their guru, right? So one may wonder if there is a line of teachers, why Prabhupada wrote this book? His guru has already given the book. If he is following the guru as it is, why he has to write one more version? It's a valid question. Even though the knowledge is same, great teachers in the line of teachers sometimes provide their commentary to make the lessons contextual, right? What do I mean by that? So when I say contextual, meaning, so 100 years ago, his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he was giving his teachings, the social system there was very different. If you read those books, you can find that it's a very different world view. The world view changes from time to time, right? Right now with technology and advancements, if we stick to the same, so the essence of the message is same, but it should be flavored by the current situations, because the knowledge is eternal, meaning the knowledge is applicable at all times. Not now, it will also be applicable 1,000 years after, but it has to be made contextual for people of that age to understand. So for that reason, acharyas, especially great teachers, in the interim, in the line of teachers, keep authoring these versions so that the knowledge becomes accessible to the current generations, right? So it's not like he's not trying to do a better job than his guru. It's never like that. It's actually, they think it is only by the mercy of their guru they're able to write this. They take always a lower position there than their own guru, always, period. They only treat themselves as a foolish servant of their guru. That is a way in which a bona fide parampara works. In today's world, if you look at Prabhupada's lectures, he always refers to his guru, and he thinks everything was done because of his guru's mercy. Even though he did the biggest movement in the sampradaya, he never feels any credit for it. It never takes. He only thinks all these disciples that I have are sent by my guru. That is his loyalty and that is his chastity to his guru. Today, look at the so-called babas, this and that. They never even speak about their guru because they want to take all the credit for themselves. So there is no comparison between, it's like comparing gold to, iron. The so-called gurus, they have big beard and talk big, speak sweetly. They're not bona fide actually. A simple guru who may not have any name, fame, doesn't matter. Those are not the barometer to check whether he's going back to Vaikuntha in the next life. He can be the simplest person, but he has lived his pure life and he has always stood by his guru and he always depended on the mercy of his guru. That is the real character that Krishna allows such people to go back to Godhead. It's not the charisma, it's not anything else. I just went a little aside just to give context about this topic. One second. Yeah, so that is a real guru. And today also, Prabhupada has initiated, there are at least 100 gurus, all his key disciples who have become sannyasas, they are all now initiating. I took shelter of one of those spiritual children of Srila Prabhupada. And what does it take to initiation? Very simple. You should study Prabhupada's books and hear Bhagavad Gita, learn Bhagavad Gita, and follow 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit relations, no intoxication, and do some little service, seva, the temple. That's it. And as you are engaged and as you are inspired by a specific teacher, there's so many teachers available. Everybody, something will click at some point to each of you, and you feel like taking shelter of a particular guru, then you are ready for it. Until you feel ready, you cannot just choose, go find a guru like that. It doesn't work. When you are ready, Krishna sends a guru to you. It's always like that. It's never, it's not like a market. I'll find a guru and I'll take shelter of him. So you get, by the mercy of a guru, one gets Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets guru. Right? So it works like that. So when you are ready, it's whatever time it takes. We have to be patient, but the right inspiration will come, and when that moment comes, you will automatically be directed by your heart to attract to a particular teacher, and you'll be getting his shelter, right? But that will be a big change in life. Once you take shelter of a guru, you will clearly see the changes in life. All the chanting, all the things become very effective after that, because your guru is the guard of your karma. Once you take initiation, what happens is your karma is put on hold, right? Until you perform nonsense again, the karma will not affect you. All your sanchit karma will be put on hold by the force and power of the guru. So you become very light, and light means, you will get more opportunities to practice spiritual life without any hindrance, and you can see a lot of change in your life. I have personally seen that in my own life. As soon as I took shelter of a guru, it just changes everything for you. Your faith, you can clearly see Krishna is there, right? You have that conviction, and it doesn't mean that you won't have any miseries in life. It's all going to be there, but you will have the power to face any situation. So that will happen. right? So all of you should at some point, think in that direction, taking shelter of a bona fide guru. That will completely take to a next level. Within the material world, you can see so much. It's like taking an injection and, taking a, like, what do you call, not anesthesia. So if suppose there is a, city infected with certain bacteria or disease, you take certain injection so that you don't get affected, infection, right? You don't get infected. So Krishna consciousness is like that. It will relieve you from such infections. The infection of material existence. Material world is like a infectious place where there is strong influence of mode of passion and ignorance at every moment. Right? So that is a material nature gradually ceases. Right? It is already stated here in 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. As you start seeing Krishna in everything, seeing things as they are means seeing Krishna's hand in everything is a very powerful point. God's hand in everything. When that happens, the nature will just withdraw from you. That is liberation. That is mukti. You are not influenced by the modes. I need to go actually now. We'll end the class here. Any questions or anything?
Prabhuji, in the previous verse, it is mentioned like a person will be in the mode of ignorance until he gets into Krishna consciousness. So by that, what it means, like, but a person to come to the Krishna consciousness, he should have that karma or the blessings, right? So usually we see many people like who are not ready to come to the Krishna consciousness. Does that mean that they don't have that that karma or whatever the blessing?
It's not by karma. It's not by karma one gets actually. You know how one gets? Actually, nobody is qualified to get Krishna consciousness. Nobody in the material world is, qualified to get Krishna consciousness. You will be surprised how I am saying this. Not one person is qualified. It is only by the causeless mercy of devotees that we get Krishna consciousness. I got like that. It's not that I am, qualified to achieve Krishna consciousness. So it is mercy. It is just case of mercy that one gets Krishna. There is no other reason.
So for mercy also, like then why there are many people who are not ready to come to Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji? Like they want to be ignorant, they just want to continue that. Yeah.
Karma is so strong, they will not let, karma will not let you come near. There are some people, they would not tolerate hearing Hare Krishna mantra, I have seen such people. So karma is, very strong. It's like a, karma means it works through your mind. You have such strong demonic mentality. Who are demons? Demons means who are completely against Krishna consciousness. Okay, I need to go now. Thank you all. We'll connect back next week. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.